If you're going to be spending money doing that production, that's going to cost you a lot. So yun lang bang applause ko? Luging-lugi naman. Thank you, thank you. Hey, good evening. One more time. I know I'm dealing with the young people who are very dynamic. Am I right? Raise up your right hand. Everybody, umpisa na agad. Dali. Tap the shoulder, person to your right. Look at that person and say, you look so dynamic. Kaliwang kamay naman po. Kaliwang kamay. Tap the shoulder, person to your left. Look at that person and say, you look like you're hungry. So, one more time, one more time. Good evening. Look at the person beside you and say, good evening. Got a couple of questions I want to ask you so we can get that out of the way. How many among you are excited to be here because you know there's so much stuff you can learn? Raise up your hand. Fantastic. Next question. How many among you are so excited to be here because you know my seminars are expensive and this one is free for you? Sabi ko na nga ba eh. Well, is it okay if I remove my jacket in a little while? Yeah, I normally wear this when I'm being paid. Now, we always want new things. We want new gadgets. We want new cars. We want new houses. We want new condo. We want everything, but we always want old friends. Tama po ba? That's why the first time Ikoy invited me to speak for CCF, that was Big Retreat 5. I remember that. Today, it's Big Retreat 12, and he's still single. One day, he's gonna say, Francis, mag-speak ka naman sa Big Retreat 55. How many among you are single? Taas na kamay. Why? Explain. Hey, before I start and get the ball rolling, we don't have much time. I normally do this, which I'm going to do right now, which is the secure permission from you. Would you allow me to first introduce to you the one and only love of my life? My one and only wife. Isa lang, hirap ng buhay ngayon. Don't stress yourself. Lilia, where are you? Lilia? Yeah, there she is, that beautiful girl over there. For your information, Lilia is my high school sweetheart. We are celebrating our 36th wedding anniversary. Eyes in front. Ako yung nasa kaliwa. Yung nasa kaliwa, ako yan. Now, will you allow me to introduce you my kids? In the eyes of the dad, you still look at them as kids, but he's not exactly young. My son Brian, who's now speaking, he is now 33 years old. He's into this Leica photography thingy. He's a musician with Taken by Cars. He's very single and available. And together with his Japanese partner Shinji, they are now owners of 4 successful restaurants called Crazy Katsu. How many among you have been to Crazy Katsu? Taas sa kamay. Oh, masarap? Mura lang. Tomorrow, price increase. My daughter Hannah, extremely busy. She hardly has enough sleep. You want to talk about stress? That's how stressed she is. Not only because she just moved to a bigger studio, but now she finds that that place is too small, and she's doing wedding gowns and cocktail dresses. Her main specialization is embroidery. Because about 4 years ago, we sent her to Paris where she studied embroidery in a school owned by House of Chanel. We have not recovered our investments yet. Haba ng ROI, grabe. She's now dressing up all these artists. And my youngest, Rachel, graduated multimedia arts 2 years ago. She's now working for the best boss in the world, her father. Rachel, wave, so people can see you. There, she's manning the slide. Now, my task tonight is to talk about work-life balance. Let me start by telling you there's no such thing. Okay, so now let's go home. I remember IBM inviting me to speak to their top talents. Anybody here working with IBM? Mm-hmm. So I was invited. Meron ba? Meron? Oh, by the way, let me ask you, taga-IBM yan, nagtatago, di ba? Okay. How many among you were here in CCF for the first time? Taas na kamay. Okay, so I hope you feel welcome and make them feel welcome. Don't charge them money. This is for free, all right? Now, I remember IBM inviting me to talk to their top talents, and they said, Sir Francis, we want you to talk about work-life balance. And I say, yeah, but I plan to shift the entire talk to something else. And then they suddenly called me, Francis, nakakahiya. I mean, I made a mistake. Actually, we have changed our stand. We're no longer teaching work-life balance. And I said, I know, because I actually wouldn't talk about that term, because what we now have is not work-life balance. What we have today is work-life integration. You gotta think deeper. Tonight, I plan tonight's session to be something that is a thinking session, all right? A lot of people are not thinking. A lot of people are just feeling their way through life. That's going to be very, very dangerous for people. You gotta think. There was a time when time and activities were predictable. You can put them and compartmentalize them, and everything was predictable. Have you heard about the term time management? Time management is so last century. Because last century, there weren't terms like 24/7 and SMS and Skype and video conferencing. And that's the reason why what I plan to do tonight is this. It is very difficult to teach principles on work-life integration because it all depends on the load that you're carrying. So let me start there. Imposible yung eto ang formula, sundan nyo to, mawawala na yung stress sa inyo. That's not gonna happen. So I'm just gonna give you certain principles that I hope you find useful. Let's start by letting me ask you a question. How many among you are stressed? Taas ang kamay. Yung mga hindi stress, hindi nagtatrabaho yung mga yan. How many mga stress? O mga walang trabaho, di ba? Now, if you are stressed, can I warn you? Look, I'm a business consultant. This talk of mine now is officially my 111th talk for the year. And I cover industries. Name the industry, either I was there, I am there, or I will be there. So I see general patterns happening all over the place. If you feel that you are so stressed today, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are going to be 3 deprivations that are going to accelerate in its intensity. Can I share them with you? Deprivation number 1, we call that time deprivation. I don't know about you, but I find myself having to wake up earlier and then rush. And then I go home, grab a few hours of sleep, and then I wake up the next morning. If I have to get a 4 o'clock flight out to Cebu or Cagayan de Oro or Davao, I realize that when I leave my house at 1:30 in the evening or 2, it's like normal day traffic. There's so many people along the streets. Did you notice that? How many among you find that recurring incident is affecting you? You rush and rush and rush. Taas ang kamay. There you go. Why? Let me explain the reason why. When the experts who invented computers and technology, one day they boasted. Sabi na, one day when computers become so cheap and so personal that every inhabitant of planet Earth will be able to afford one, meaning now, computers will minimize our workload. Has that happened? Computers do not minimize our workload, but computers maximize our capability to do more. And so the more technology they churn out, the faster is expected from us and more output is expected to be delivered. Am I right? And so that adds stress. And by the way, many of the people feel that the work is stressful. Actually, it's not. It's EDSA. Okay. The second deprivation is what is called, a lot of people do not understand it, but do not understand this, but it is so imperative that we do. The second deprivation is called attention deprivation. I was listening to a marketing expert in Atlanta a couple of years ago. He was saying that children below 12 years of age, some 12 years ago, used to have an attention span of 6 and 7 seconds. Today, guess how many seconds ang attention span ng bata? 2 seconds. Would you like to know how many is the attention span for adults like you? 6. That's why in sales, we have a very basic training. The first 6 to 7 seconds in the mind of the prospect, judgments are going to be made whether you are worth listening to or not. And so, because of the attention span. And sociologists have been warning us to no avail that if you are working and then your phone vibrates, that captures your attention, you shift to answering a few phone calls, answering a few SMS, and then the familiar ping of your email diverts your attention again, and you do a little Facebook by the side. If you do that continuously for 4 to 5 years, your IQ level will automatically drop a few points. That is already a given. Yes. But if your IQ level is already low, you don't have much of a problem. The third deprivation is called sleep deprivation. Yeah, let me ask you a question. How many among you still have the luxury of 8 hours sleep every day? Taas ang kamay at papatayin ka namin. Nakakaingit. How many among you struggle with 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, and then you try to make it up on the weekend? Taas ang kamay. And then your boss calls you. Your next week is ruined, right? So, no wonder some people have sleep deprivation, attention deprivation, what's the other one? Time deprivation. No wonder I have had people coming to me saying, Francis, I'm so stressed. Kaya gusto ko mag-foot spa. Ladies and gentlemen, walang kinalaman yan sa paa. What do you do? That's why many of my clients, by the way, they have their wellness program. Shell has one, IBM has one. They bring people to do massage and foot spa in the workplace. They understand. Stress cannot be avoided. Ito naman ang problema. On the other hand, there are people coming up to me saying, these people now are using the word stress as a convenient excuse not to accept challenge. Huh? Ginagamit din nila yan. 6-year-old girls. Sabi na, Tita Francis, yes, sweetheart, what may I do for you? Sabi na, I'm so stressed. Sipain ko kaya yung bata. Is there such a thing as a stress-free life? Meron ba? Meron? Meron. It's called Loyola. They're very stressed now with their problem. So, here's the key I want you to understand. You cannot live a life without stress. But there is something called eustress. That is good stress. Question. How many among you have ever seen a musical instrument called a violin? Taas ang kamay. How many strings? 4. May tension ba at stress yung mga strings na yan? You cannot produce beautiful music without tension and stress in your life. On the other hand, extreme stress is called distress, and that is bad stress. So, the question now is no longer a question whether you will encounter stress or you can avoid it. The question now is, how is your load in handling stress? I'm no longer young. Isn't that obvious? Can I share a personal secret with you? Can I? Last year has been significant for me because last year I had my discount card. Less 20%, VAT-free, libreng sine. The only regret, hindi ako tiga Makati, walang birthday cake. Talo. And I've been averaging about 14 to 15 hours of work every day. A lot of people fail to understand this. You know, they say, Francis loves speaking. Of course I do, but speaking is not really my first love. Apart from loving God and family, syempre. You know, my real love is in the preparation of lessons. You cannot stop me from pouring all of my love into doing what I do, what I feel I love doing. You know, sometimes my wife has to drag me away from my computer and just to remind me it's dinner time. But that's what I love. I love studying. I love accumulating. I love curating ideas. I love interviewing people, put them together, and prepare a program and a lesson that I hope might help people. And so here's the point I'm trying to say. If you love what you do, and if you hate what you're doing, those are the differing factors. Let me explain. If you don't like what you do, because that work is simply a convenient avenue for you to earn income to pay your bills, then that is stress. But if you love what you do, and regardless of the effort and the time component that you pour into it, because you love it, it's no longer called stress. It is now called passion. Do you get the difference? Kaya, how many among you have been in love? Taas ang kamay. How many among you don't know what love is? Ulit. How many among you have been in love? Taas ang kamay. Tatawagan mo, bibisitahin mo, kakausapin mo, kahit antok na antok ka na, nandiyan ka pa, di ba? How many among you have met your bosses who behave more like jerks? Taas ang kamay. 10 minutes lang, stress na stress ka na. Makes all the difference. Welcome to this study. Rather than giving you formula on how not to be stressed and to have work-life balance, what's this word? The reason why there's no such thing as work-life balance, it is this. If I ask you to close your eyes right now and to think of an instrument that represents balance, what instrument would that be? Huh? What? When I ask you a question, you're supposed to answer. If I ask you to close your eyes and imagine and visualize an instrument that represents balance, what would that be? A weighing scale. How do you balance a weighing scale? In terms of percentages. 50-50. Hey, what is 50% work? You'll be terminated. And what is 50% family life? Dana in life. You see, when you study the word balance simply means equilibrium. Equilibrium meaning to say one leg, the other leg equal and balance. Therefore, what do you have? You have balance, but you don't have movement. And so you stay stationary, you're in the status quo. No such thing. When I'm at work, I'm 100%. But when I'm with my family, I got to make sure I'm 100% too. Are you getting me now? In other words, rather than thinking balance, this is what I teach in my seminar, by the way. There are two words that are best used to replace the word balance that is not even attainable. The two words are trade-off. In life, as in everything else, there is a trading off. The one common element that you and I have, together with Bill Gates, El Capitan, Lucio Tan, and Henry C. Sr., and all the big guys there and the big boys, is that they, you, and me, we all are given exactly 24 hours from God, and nobody with all the wealth he or she has can ever extend a minute of it. Am I right? So it all depends on how you trade it off. And that's why when people do not understand that, they get off balance. Because they enter into other activities that will not add value to their success goals, and in effect, just add more stress into it. Here's my question. How many among you want to be successful? Raise up your hand. Good. To be successful is an outcome. Everybody say outcome. To get to your outcome, you need behaviors. Everybody say behaviors. Wrong behaviors equals wrong. Right behaviors equals right outcome. You want to go to Divisoria, you take a bus going to Makati, it won't bring you there. So here's my question. From where you are to where you want to be, what is the shortest distance? A straight line. In other words, ang ibig sabihin po niya, nandito ako ngayon, by the way, there are people who are so stressed out and their life is totally in shambles because they're still living with the pains of the past. Am I right? How many among you have been hurt before? Taas ang kamay. Hindi makaabante. Grabe, di ba? Let me ask you a question. How many among you are in Facebook? Taas ang kamay. Oh, ba't hindi lahat? Sinong nasa Friendster pa rin? Jologs na yan, Jologs. Can I share with you my Facebook page? Can I? Don't forget to look after me with a 2 after my name. There's just simply so many Francis Kong there, some from Hong Kong, I don't know why. Now, itong Facebook page ko, I answer every private message. Daming nag-advise, puro love. Napagkamalan akong Jody Mango, ikoy, di ba? Sabi nung isa, but I really love him. Pero 3 times na niya ako tinaksilan. Dapat ko bang habulin siya o hindi? Sabi ko, hindi ko pwede. So, pigil na pigil. Sabi ko, gusto mo bang gawin niyang pang-5? And then, meron ako pinost. Grabe, ang daming nag-like. Ito yung pinost ko. Never allow an old flame to burn you twice. Oh, kita mo, nangungopia na. Yan, yan. Kasi, alam mo na yung buhay, marami ka pang distraction. Paano ka hindi sige nga, turuan mo nga ng work-life balance yung mga taong ganyan. And that is the reason why tonight I won't do that. I don't know where your context is. I don't know what your environment is. That's a problem with prescription. You know, I'm a professional trainer. Before a company gets me, I spend an enormous amount of time sitting down, talking with the owner, talking with the HR people. What are the challenges? Why? Simple. Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice, isn't it? Hindi mo alam ang sitwasyon, nagbibigay ka ng prescription, hindi pwede. That's why I won't do that. Mamaya, iba yung konteksto mo, yung natutunan mo rito, hindi naman bagay, ako pa may kasalanan yan. Hindi na nga ako binabayaran, ako pa may kasalanan. So, here's the key to understanding this. From where I am to where I want to be, a straight line will bring me there fastest. But the journey from here to there, look, some people could not recover. Naka-experience ng failure and pain. Any navigational device that you use will ask you a crucial question. Kay Waze pa yan, kay Google Maps. Where is your current location? I have never opened a Waze that says, what was your past location? You start from where you are, and you determine how you're going to get there. But the journey from where you are to where you want to be is littered with humps and bumps and lumps along the way, isn't it? Daming distraction. Here's the key. Sabay lang naman tayo sa ating journey, but I stick towards my track. That means I'm on track. May bumps, may humps. Balik na naman ako dyan. Some people, they're very talented, they're very skillful, and they start out right, but in between, daming distraction. Grabe. Ano yung mga distraction na yan? Alam mong bawal, ginawa mo pa. You know that's a violation against company principle, youth, ginawa mo pa rin. Pag nahuli ka, when you fail off track, that is called a setback. Everybody say setback. What causes setbacks? Wrong decisions. What causes wrong decisions? Wrong values. Very, very simple. Baliktarin natin ngayon ang process. If I have the right values, I'll make the right decision. If I make the right decision, I'll stay on track. If I stay on track, I won't have any setback. If I stay on track, then the fastest possible time will get me to where I want to go. Are you following? Simple-simple. So ano pa yung mga ibang distraction na yun? Naku, in love. Grabe. In love with the wrong person, by the way. Yung na-in love siya sa bugoy. Di ba? That's why, sino mga girls, lahat ng girls dito, taas sa kamay, I want to see. Kasi during these times, it's very dangerous. You have to be sure. Okay. Okay. So, can I give you tips? Huh? Is it okay if I give you tips about men? I'm an expert. You know why? I have 2 daughters. I-repeat ko lang naman yung tinuturo ko sa kanila eh. Are you ready for this? Para maiwasan yung distraction, kayo mahilig sa mga lalaking cute. Maraming mga lalaking cute, immature yan. Alam nilang gwaping sila. Pagkatapos kong gamitin, papalitan ka because they're high in demand. Make sense? Next, huwag kayong mahilig sa mga lalaking maraming abs. Yung mga lalaking maraming abs, walang laman yan. Araw-araw ba naman, yun ang ginagawa. Yung mga malalaking tiyan, maraming alam yan. Di ba, Ikoy? Diba? Why? Cute? Ayaw na gumana to. Suddenly, ito na gumagana. Grabe. And then, pag tinamaan, di ba, pinalitan ka na, i-depress ka na naman. Ang tawag dyan, setback na naman. I don't want to laugh anymore. They're not thinking. You know, the reason why I'm saying this, because a lot of young people today, they're not thinking. They're just feeling their way through life. Every time I get to speak to these students from exclusive schools for girls like Assumption and Sensco and so forth and so on, sabi ko sa mga girls na, hey girls, get some thinking going on. You can't just feel your way through life. But I can live without him. No, stupid, you can. You try, you try. You try. You were alive long before you met him. Duh. Is it? That's why you gotta think. And so, eto na ha. If you have the right values, chances are you won't make the wrong decision. There are 2 Filipino words, Filipino phrases that you and I need to eradicate in our vocabulary that I find is extremely disastrous for your career, business, and personal life. What is it? Number 1 is, pwede na yan. The phrase, pwede na yan, hindi na po pwede yan. Because when you say pwede na yan, you're simply saying 75% passing grade pwede na. You and I now are living in an environment of globalized competition wherein you and I are living in 24/7 actual real-life streaming video reality show. You can't escape na. Everything is scientific now. Nung araw kasi, when I was a lot younger, and that was a long time ago, seniority was awarded, tenure was given because wala pang matrix, wala pang performance. Ngayon, di ka na makakalusot. There are 2 industries in my clientele that's feeling the punch. Number 1, banks. Anybody here working with the banking industry? You would know. Banks right now are being shaken. Bangko Sentral just released and relaxed their requirements, opening the way for the big players in the region to come in. And that's why many of my clients now, they're aggressive in doing things. When you look at the advertisements, they are very aggressive now. Number 2, insurance companies. Pasukan na ngayon yung mga foreign insurance players that would render people today, kung ikaw 75 passing grade ka lang, you're dead. Are you following me now? And so, yung pwede na yan, hindi na po pwede. If I were to translate this into English, it becomes very sentimental and meaningful for me. Why? Because what I'm going to say, which I'm going to share with you, is the very title of the first ever article I submitted to Philippine Star. Today, good enough no longer is. Write that down. That's extremely important. Today, good enough no longer is. Nobody wants average. Nobody wants average. Our very talented friend Sikay from SM, for example, in SM, what is the brand promise? Here at SM, we offer you fill-in-the-blanks products and services. What is the adjective people would use? Anong adjective? We offer you, fill in the blanks, products and services. What? Excellent. Di ba? Do you think you can promise, sa aming company, we offer you the most average services and products? Would that be acceptable? Imagine, I have a very important conversation with my wife. And then I'm going to tell her, sweetheart, you know naman today is September 14. I mean, how many couples would you know who'll be celebrating their 36th wedding anniversary? That's why tonight I want you to be ready. I will bring you to the most average restaurant. We will have the most average time of our life. Nobody wants average, am I right? As a matter of fact, have you ever heard of the gentleman whose name is Alexander the Average? Anong pangalan? The second phrase that you and I need to remove in order to be successful are the words, bahala na. My goodness. Do you realize how many lives have been destroyed because of the use of that phrase? Bahala na means you suspend your reasoning and then you resign and surrender your entire destiny to time plus matter plus chance, hoping that you'll be showered with good luck. And it's Friday the 13th today. Walang thinking eh. And that's the reason why. Alam mong mali, bahala na, huli ka, tanggal ka. Alam mong hindi pwede yung relasyon na yun, pinasukan mo pa. Ang katwiran mo, bahala na, nung nagbunga. Anong katwiran? Sapagkat ako ay, bakit? Kabayo ka ba? Those are the things that add a lot of stress into the being. Now, some stress are beyond our control. You work for bosses who would behave more like jerks. That's another stress, isn't it? I have known of people who get sick after many years of working under that stressful environment. But the one stress that a lot of people fail to realize is this. You know what that stress is? That's idleness and refusal to improve. That will hit you like crazy. Yan ang hindi nila napapansin. Hindi nag-aaral, hindi nag-i-improve, and then one day, life passes you by. There is one element that you and I cannot escape from. You know what? It's time. Everybody grows old, right? Number two, gravity. Everything sags. And so, wala na yung energy mo, di mo na kaya. Meanwhile, here comes this young, brilliant, talented, skillful, techie, savvy young people who are now hungry to get over your job, and then they're willing to work for less pay. Do you get it now? That's the biggest stress that will hit them. Work time, rather than doing work, they're doing a lot of other activities. That will hit them one day. Work time, rather than giving their best, basta ako, makuha ko lang yung sweldo ko, that's gonna be stressful. Now, here's the biggest stress that's hitting the millennials. Jumping from one industry or one job to another. 15 years later, that's gonna be a very stressful situation. Today, people are extremely emotional. Why is that so? Media has everything to do with it. We have been fashioned in the way we think because of media. They don't want to admit it, but that's true. I remember one time when I was talking to a Hollywood producer, his name is George Wade. You want to see his name? Just pull out an old DVD featuring the film The Return of the Pink Panther, starring Steve Martin and Beyonce. You will see the name there, George Wade. Sabi ni George Wade sa akin, Francis, you want to understand Hollywood? I said, sure. Hollywood can be explained by two simple elements. What's that? It's all emotions. That's why there should be a component of sex and violence. Yun lang yun. Kaya kung nanonood kayo ng sine, kahit na yung mga series niya, parang out of misfit sentence, ipapasok yan. Because it's all about emotions. They don't care whether you learn or not. What do they care about is yung in-your-face shocker, those will do better. And that's also the reason why today many of the young people now are incapable of appreciating intelligent conversational movies that carries a depth of wisdom. And what's their complaint? Boring. Bakit? Walang patayan. How many among you are from CCF? Taas ang kamay. I don't know if you've noticed this. We are blessed because Sunday after Sunday, we get to hear something. Now, I'm going to be very fair with you. Sometimes, there are times when the message is not exciting. Tama ba? And sometimes, many times, you're sleepy, right? That's why after the service, you're so refreshed. But here's the key. Kung every Sunday after Sunday, you pick up a little thing, 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 that's infinitely better because you're now more equipped than somebody who never does. Make sense? That's why, in a sense, you're learning, you're learning, you're learning. I'm a trainer. My favorite program is called Level Up Leadership. For the first time in my life, I'm going to pull out my training program from Shangri-La EDSA and bring it to the new Shangri-La at the Fort. Very expensive. In case you haven't noticed, I'm plugging. Actually, I'm not plugging anymore because we don't have seats. We were targeting 40. As of last count this afternoon, we had 110. Buti na lang, they're very gracious, and then they did it. They allowed us to use 2 ballrooms fixed together. This is one training program wherein I go extensively into how to manage no longer time. You don't manage time anymore, but you got to manage your task. One thing that you need to remember, and by the way, here I teach extensively the disastrous result 15 years from now for the Y generation if they don't do things right. Alam mo, yung 15 years na yan, sandali lang yan. Why is it task management? Routine is extremely important. Routine forces you to wake up in a predictable environment with activities you know. These are the essential tasks you need to do. So, hindi ka pakalat-kalat. And every single day of my life, it's the same routine. When I wake up in the morning, I start my quiet time. After that, I do all other stuff. It's the same. You know, I have had people in Facebook saying, Sir Francis, can I just carry your bag and live with you for 2 months? Sabi ko, if you do that, you'll be bored to death. Because it's what I do from morning until afternoon until evening. It's always the same. My question to you now is this: do you have a routine? A routine of understanding how to manage your most essential tasks and never deviating from it. Now, here's my next question. How many among you are familiar with the Pareto principle? Taas ang kamay. 80-20 rule. Would you want me to teach you extensively on that subject matter? Attend my seminar. Meaning to say, 20%, now don't get hung up by 20 or 30%, but a few tasks that you stick to doing will contribute to almost 70 or 80% of your success goals. I have been doing this thing for my life for more than 30 years. It has not failed. It's still the same. There are few essential tasks that you stick to. The rest are just storbo yan, excess baggage. That's why a lot of people don't have routine. They don't have the foundation for success. Work can be hard. Am I right? Some days are long. And then some people say, oh, grabe, stress na stress ako. Bago ko umuwi, mag-de-stress muna ako. Pare, di ba? Doesn't make sense. You add more stress, isn't it? Here are a couple of things I want to share with you. Teka muna, are you learning? Yes. Raise up your right hand. Tap the shoulder person to your right. Look at that person and say, grabe, ang dami ko nang natutunan. Raise up your left hand. Tap the shoulder person to your left. Look at that person and say, parang hindi mo naintindihan. Here's a couple of things I want to share with you, which I hope you'll find useful. I only have about an hour, and we're almost approaching that time frame, so I'm gonna try to make this as coherent as possible. Meron akong pinost sa Facebook na itong sinasabi ko, this is the basic philosophy for all successful people I have met. You know what? I love my job. Do you know why I love my job? I get to meet our country's top leaders and achievers. Tycoons, nakakasama ko yan. Do you know the meaning of tycoons? Ha? Tycoons? Nakakasama ko yan. Taipans? Lalo na. Typhoons? Marami din yun. Ito yung mga mahahangin, walang sinasabi, kasama ko rin yan. You know what I've learned in life? Ito na ha. Itong isi-share ko sa inyo, pinost ko sa Facebook to. Are you interested? Sabi ko, eto yan. Pero nung nilagay ko to, daming nagalit. Grabe. Ibang klase Facebook, no? Hindi mo kilala, minumura ka. They use 4-letter words, and love ain't one of them. Diba? Eto na, eto na. Sabi ko, always give more than what you're paid for. My goodness, nung nilagay ko yan, daming nagalit. In customer service, we have a rule. Rustle, dazzle the customer. Surprise the customer. Wow, the customer. What does that mean? Ito ang level na expectation ng customer. You just surprise it with something more, isn't it? Now, if that works for customer service, why not use the same principle and use it for our career and for our profession? You see, here's the problem with most people. Binabayaran naman ako eh. Kahit magsipak ako, kahit hindi. Pareho lang naman ng bayad. Ano ako, bobo? Yes. Kasi, ikaw rin ang talo pag hindi ka nagsisipag. Oras ng trabaho, wala ka naman sa trabaho mo kung ano ginagawa mo kasi ang feeling mo, nakagulang ka. Do you get it now? Some people are so parental. Ang gugulang nila. Always give more than what you pay for. Or you'll be surprised. Grabe, sabi ng isa, hey, what are you smoking? Kong? Yan ang tawag sa akin. No? Minumura ako. Sabi na, you bust. Yung mga, church nga pala to, ano? Church. Huh? I mean, they use all kinds of cuss words. Sabi ko, anong kasalanan ko dito? Di ba? Sabi ng isa, you don't know our work environment. Sabi ng isa, ang problema sa'yo, pinanganak ka mayaman, pero hindi naman ako kilala. Huh? You know, one thing I have learned in my life is, chill ka lang, di ba? Sabi nung isa, you don't know our workplace. They work us like slaves. They underpay us. My boss is from hell. Yung mga ganyan. One thing I have learned in life is this, pag minumura ka, inaaway ka, huwag kang mag-respond. Tigil lang. Pero gustong-gusto ko nang sabihin, have you never encountered the English word called resignation? Complain ka ng complain, pero nandiyan ka pa. Look, be careful. A lot of people come to me and say, Francis, should I resign from my work? Sabi ko, why? Because I'm no longer happy. Have you ever heard people say that? Sabi ko, well, show me a work where you can be happy all the time and I'll resign and join you. What are you talking about? But Francis, it's no longer fun in our workplace. Sabi ko, that's why they call it work. My boss is from hell. Sabi ko, that's why they pay you. Duh. You gotta think further. Change your mindset so you don't have to go through unnecessary stress. Itong problema, ang dami mga speaker kung ano-ano pinagtuturo, walang naintindihan sa buhay at sa trabaho. Have you ever heard people say, you gotta love your job? Have you? I'll never teach that. You know why? There are jobs that are not lovable. Eh kung ang trabaho mo, maglinis ng kubeta, I've never heard anyone say, I love cleaning poo-poo. But what if you change your mindset into saying, instead of saying, I love my job, why don't you start saying, I love the fact that I have a job. Then I work so hard on myself that I become so overqualified in my current job, they have no choice but to put me into another one. What do you think? Doesn't that sound more scientific? Kaya ingat kayo. Lahat ng mga speaker nagsasabi, follow your passion. Follow. Saan ba pupunta? Have you ever heard speakers say that? Huh? You follow your passion and the money will follow you. No, it doesn't. Because I'm going to give you something better. One of the most dangerous things I have realized now is young people mouthing cliche without deepening their reason. God has gifted us the gift of reason and the will to decide. Animals don't have that. They create by external stimuli. They move according to external stimuli. We are not. Pero minsan, we just follow the crowd in the mob without exercising our own reason. We have to do that. Rather than saying, love your job, love the fact that I have a job. And I'm going to work harder on myself than I do on my job. I've always loved the garments industry. But my first job there was not glamorous at all. I was with visual merchandising. Taga-bihis ako ng mannequin sa show window. There's only one problem with show windows, transparent. So dumadaan ngayon yung mga kaklase ko na minsan pasado, minsan baksak. Sabi, di ba yun yung school natin? Pare, kaya ayaw ko maging scholar. Kita mo yung trabaho niya. Oh. Taga-bihis ng mannequin, bading, ginagano, no? Masakit, ha? Hey, the first lesson I've learned in my life, which I'm going to share with you, is this. This is so important. Never feel sorry for yourself. Okay ba yan? But I have to admit, tinatamaan ako niyan. Minsan sabi ko, oo nga, bakit ganun ang trabaho ko? Mag-resign na lang kaya ako. Lumipat ako sa bangko, at least nakapolo barong. Pero when that thing began to happen, today, when I look back, God has been gracious with me. Hindi ko pa kilala si Jesus nung araw. Every time I feel the urge of feeling sorry for myself, I talk to myself, and man, that's a very important conversation. Question, do you talk to yourself? You do. What about you? Do you talk to yourself? You do? Why? We got to bring you to a safe place. That's okay. You can talk to yourself. Kaya lang when you hear yourself say, you have a problem. I just tell myself, ano kung mannequin changer lang ako. That's why your boss, Harley C., will remember that. Robina Gokongwei remembers that. Today when I do training in SM and Robinsons, they remember that. And I just tell myself, diba, kahit na mannequin changer lang ako, I will be the fastest mannequin changer in the Republic of the Philippines. And then the tiny little itsy-bitsy yellow polka dot salary that I was receiving, I spent it on books. Books on salesmanship, books on public speaking, books on presentation, books on PR, books on books. Living the Christian life is the same. Are you spending your choice time in the morning as a prioritized task in reading God's Word? What did Jesus say? Man cannot live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Ibig sabihin, if you don't read God's Word, you get famished. You'll starve. You'll be undernutrition. That has been the one thing that has sustained me all these years. Are you kidding me? I have had partners that cheated me. I have been put in a tabloid with a slander and an attempt to destroy my credibility in the workplace. It has always been reading and that Word of God that has sustained me all these years. So my question now is this. If you are not going to church and you don't read God's Word, I'll understand. But if you are in CCF and you attend church, but your devotional life is lackadaisical and not very vibrant, you will have a problem. You don't have the resistance and the foundation to stay on track there. Are you following me now? That's essential. That's why I spend the first choice morning hours in quiet time. How many among you do that in the morning? Taas ang kamay. Now, I used to teach this. Siyempre, the only exception is if your work is in the evening. So, I used to say, depende sa iyo kung morning or evening, pwede naman. No, evening stress ka na. By the time you get home, you're so tired, you want to read the Word, you will hear a sound. Here's the philosophy. I don't want to fine-tune my instrument after the concert. I want to fine-tune myself so I can meet the outer challenges by building my inner strength. Are you getting it? That sustains you. Hindi mo alam kung ano yung challenge na haharap sa opisina. But if you don't have that, The second thing will be this. You educate not only your intellect, but you got to educate your emotions as well. Our emotions will either serve us or our emotions will shame us. Have you ever seen a 2-year-old boy having temper tantrums? Nakakita na kayo? Di ba? Pero cute naman 2-year-old yun Pero kung 32 ka na, nagte-temper tantrum ka pa, hindi ka na cute. Di ba? There are so many people who are so brilliant and they're so talented, they cannot rise up in their profession and career and business and even their personal life because they could not manage their emotions. Don't make mistakes. The thoughts in your mind are more important than the things in your life. Always remember that. Dito nang gagaling yan. Have you ever heard doctors tell you, you are what you eat? Again, have you ever heard doctors say, you are what you eat? One businessman said, if I'm what I eat, then by now, I would have converted into French fries. That doctors will tell you, you are what you eat. The Bible will tell you, you are what you think. You'll be amazed at the amount of scriptures given to the mind. And by the way, when I talk about the mind, I don't mean the brains. The brains is to the physical body, the mind is to the soul. What is the soul? The soul is our operating system that contains our transcendent signal that is a homing device towards our Creator. That is the reason why, no wonder, even the staunchest atheists will always find something that they cannot explain in their heart stance against God. There's no such thing as atheism, by the way. Somebody who claims that there is no God will have to precede God before making that claim. Are you following it now? That's why they don't even think in their claim. Bertrand Russell used to boast as he was the most famous atheist. After endless debate, he had to change. He finally says, I'm not an atheist, I'm an agnostic. There's no such thing. And by the way, if there is no God, then there are no atheists. Medyo malalim yan. Paki-explain lang, di ba? So, number one, you got to give more than what you're paid for. Number two, you got to manage your emotions, use your intellect, use reason. This is one thing that we can sharpen. Read the books of Ravi Zacharias. Read the books of C.S. Lewis. You know why? Sharpens your mind. Hindi ka na kayang bulahin yan. One of the biggest blessings and one of the most expensive investments I had is when I sent all my 3 kids to Oxford University last year to study under Ravi's summer course on apologetics. So now, their favorite books are G.K. Chesterton, Malcolm Muggeridge, all of these books ni C.S. Lewis and so forth and so on. Sharp na sharp ang mind ng mga batang yan. There's only one downside. Ayaw mag-asawa. Kasi natatakot mandigaw yung mga lalaki, hindi kayang bulahin. Although, not the other daughter I have, but there was one time when I said, wala kang boyfriend, wala kang suitor, don't you want to get married? Storbo lang sa buhay ko yung mga lalaking yan. Besides, my father can give me everything I want. Ako yun You don't want your dad to retire? Work harder, Dad, work harder. Too sharp, too sharp. Binalance ko yan. Sabi ko, next time when somebody is courting you, do not argue and debate the guy. Ang lalaki madaling matakot. Di ba, guys? Galit sa akin, no? Mabilis matakot yung guy. Kaya sabi ko, pag lumalapit sa'yo, ganun ang gawin mo. Ganun ba? Let me speak as a guy, as a man. Guys get easily attracted to beauty, but they easily get bored with people without brains. Ulitin ko. Guys, tama ba? Oo. Kasi yung guys na hanggang beauty lang, wala rin silang ganun Oo. Let me repeat that. Guys get easily attracted to beauty because men are made visual But women, they get bored when their women are not sharp enough because they're not developing their minds. Develop your minds because at the end of the day, we are 36 years married. Tumanda na ako, tumanda na siya. But now, our relationship is stronger than before. Hindi na ito yung, wow, cute niya. Hindi. We can discuss. Wala na yung cute sa amin eh. Kuha mo ba? Lastly, are you still okay? Anybody who works only for the pay does not understand the definition for the word work. What is the function of work? The function of work is to create value. Are you getting it now? Kaya ka nagtatrabaho dahil may dinagdagdag kang value. Kung pera lang ang kinukuha mo, you rob work of value and worth. That work now becomes worthless. You rob work of its dignity. Kung puro pera lang, hindi ka nakikreate ng value. Kung hindi ka nakikreate ng value, nirarap mo ngayon yung work na yan of its dignity and worth. What is dignity? Let me give you the definition of the word dignity. Dignity simply means worth without substitute. Am I making sense? In other words, there's no price. Which brings me to the most important factor of them all. You gotta stand on truth all the time. Hindi dapat compromise ka sa truth. There's so many distractions in the workplace. There's so many temptations. Sometimes we think about temptation as being sexual in nature. No, ang dami niyan. The temptation to just not deliver what I'm being paid for. The temptation of not giving my best. The temptation of ego tripping around the place. The temptation of not learning, not adding value to the employment that is putting food on my dining table. Those are many temptations. Are you getting me? And so, if it's only the payroll that I'm looking for, I am robbing this work of its dignity. In other words, I carry a price. Kaya pala akong bayaran. At ang bayad sa akin, yung A15 at A30. Not a very good thing. That's why passion is rightly defined as consistently loving the work for years. Loving the work and still maintaining falling in love with the work. 20 plus years, 30 years, I love doing lessons. I have never tired of doing it. And if God will not take me right away, I will still be doing it for the next many years. That's what you call passion. Some people mistake hobbies and pleasure for passion. They're not the same thing. And the person who works only for the payroll is merely working for the price and has robbed work of its dignity. Why? Let me explain the reason why. What comes out of your work is not how much you get or your attainment. The most important thing about work is what have you become because of the work you've done. Yan ang importante. Why? Very simple. Ulitin ko. What is important in your work is not how much money you make or what accomplishments you've made, you've attained. The most important thing about work is what kind of person you have become because of your work. Because if you read scriptures, you will see from the book of Exodus, yung journey nila on the desert until the books of Acts and then all throughout the New Testament, what? God is more concerned with our human character development rather than our successes. Does that make sense? Some people, because of work, they become more mayabang. Some people, because of work, they become more swapang. Some people, because of work, they become more noble. And that's the reason why there are more noble janitors than foolish CEOs in the workplace. There's more dignity in janitorial service than that person in the C-suite of his office. If you're a student of scriptures, you will notice that God is more concerned over what you become rather than what you can accomplish. So how do we attain this one? I'm going to end with this most important thing. You stand for truth all the time. Complete the verse. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall... Sino may sabi nan? No, Jesus Christ never said that. Look at your Bible again. Jesus Christ never said, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. As a matter of fact, there are many people who know the truth, they're still living in their stupid lifestyle. If you go to John 8:31 to 32, there's a condition there. Take a careful look at that condition. Then Jesus said to those Jews who believe him, if you what? Abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed. And you shall know the truth. It is not the truth that will set you free. It is when you become a disciple of Jesus, because truth is not a concept, truth is a person. And that's the reason why Jesus himself would say, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. Now watch. Disciples in the Greek simply means mathetes. The very simple concept of that is a learner side by side. But that's even deep. Let me give you a very simple definition. The word disciple means you are an apprentice. In other words, logic. When people are afraid to come to Christian churches like this, I tell them, if you're afraid, don't come. But when you're in your house, I want you to study the Bible in the New Testament where the words are printed in red. Ano yung printed in red? Jesus, di ba? Now, here's the logic behind. Jesus is the smartest person who ever walked on planet Earth in his humanity, right? So if you study him and do what he says, then you're going to be smart too, isn't it? Di nila naintindihan. That's why, with all of our traditions and practices and everything else, are you a genuine apprentice of Jesus Christ? Are you reading his word? And most importantly, are you following and obeying his words? Feminist movement, Jesus is the most friendly to women who were looked down as second-class citizens. Sinners, Jesus is closest to the sinners. Tax gatherers, those discriminated upon by society, he was closest to them. But he hated the most religious hypocrites, isn't it? Because true relationship with Christ is never about behavior modification. It is never about impression management. It is all about spiritual transformation from the inside that connects you now with the vine wherein we operate and get our source from him. That allows us the strength and the foundation to stay on track because he sets us free. The gospel is very simple, nothing complicated. How many among you are the group leaders? Taas ang kamay. Here in CCF, we have a wonderful model wherein small groups are very important. Sure, every member but first, are you a disciple first? If you are not a disciple, how can you be a discipler? Voila, you can't give what you don't have. You can't share what you don't own. So you connect with Jesus first. You derive the strength and inspiration and the instruction from him. Then you transfer what you have to others. That's how it is, and that's how it will always be. Let me conclude by just saying this. The ability to start is good. But true success means when you finish well. It's not how strong you start, it's how well you finish. I feel very generous tonight. I think I'm going to give out a book of mine to the first person here who can give me the difference between power and energy. And don't say spelling. What's the difference between power and energy? Wala. Okay, clue. Think in terms of battery. Wala. Tipid ako sa libro. Oh, yes, sir. Uh, I love that answer. That's not the answer I want. But you're such a great sport, you get a book from me, all right? We don't have much time now, but think in terms of batteries. Power is how fast you can go. Energy is how far you can reach. Make sense? Gusto mo malakas ngayon yung cellphone mo, buksan mo yung lahat ng apps mo, pinaka-bright todo mo, pero sandali lang, hindi lalayo ang paggamit mo. But then, when you want a farther reach of your energy, you dim, you manage the power. The Christian life is the same. You derive your power from the workings of the Holy Spirit by being fed with God's Word, so that now that same power helps you to reach farther in life until you not only start strong, but you also finish very, very well. That's the secret of the Christian life. I have been accused of being hard on people. No. I am never hard on my people. I am hard on performance. When you claim you are a Christian, I expect you to outperform people who never make that claim. Make sense? As a matter of fact, this is something I've never told in public. In the garments industry, I had an opening wherein my own brother was given the position. I told him, "You're my brother. That's why I expect more from you." After 2 years, nagwala, malaking kinita. I fired my own brother. Why? Our relationship was destroyed for 10 years. Ayaw kong kausapin. Now we're okay. Because my job as the leader in my company is to take care of the interests of everyone, including our janitors and our drivers. Do you get it? If we pay you salary and you don't perform, I will be hard on you. But I've had people working for me for 12 years, 15 years, and they're a blessing to us. And I'm so generous with them. Why? Because that person claims to be a Christian, and it shows by the action that she does. Are you getting it now? That is the reason why, congratulations, if you belong to CCF and you're attending ECOI's, what do you call this? Big Fridays ba? Lahat ng Fridays? Because you are now equipped with tools that can help you. Are you enjoying this? But then I expect all of you to be the most excellent people in the workplace. Yan naman ang responsibility. Hindi pa pwede, "Sir, pasensya na. We have to go home early. Bakit may D-group pa kami? May emergency na nga." No, 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 no. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. Do not cause any stain on the name of the person who is the source of our truth and the source of our life. Be the best you can be because now you have the equipping to do so. Maraming salamat.